What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with another tune from the Phantasy Star games. We're going to move ahead to Phantasy Star II. I'm going to react to a couple tracks, and I'll try to hold off on reacting to all of them before I actually get to the game, but it'll be hard because this soundtrack is even better than the one for the first game. Now that makes sense. Phantasy Star II came out on the Genesis or MegaDrive, so it was a 16-bit system. The hardware was just more advanced and capable of doing things that the 8-bit Phantasy Star I just hadn't been able to do. And the Phantasy Star original is brilliant, it's awesome, it's epic and legendary, but the second game is really the masterpiece. Like, if the first game is shining gold, the second game is a gleaming diamond. It's just absolutely incredible. It's longer, it's more epic, and without spoiling anything, I'll just say the ending is incredible. Like, when I saw it as a kid, I was impressed yet shocked. I was amazed yet stunned. I was really... honestly, I can't even think of the right word. Like, I was aghast and yet thought it was brilliant at the same time. So, again, we'll leave that for when we actually do the playthrough, and I'll do my best not to hint at what happens. But yes, the ending is as incredible as the game leading up to it. And, you know, I guess it depends on exactly how long you build up your characters and so on, but I think the second game requires like 200 something hours of gameplay. It's a long game, so we'll look forward to that. The composer for the game is the same as the first one, Owabo Tokuhiko, and we're going to listen to a tune called Mystery. It's one of the dungeon games. Now, dungeon is used a bit more loosely here, because the second game, if the first game is pretty solid science fantasy, and, you know, sort of equally, where there's a lot of science fiction type elements, with, again, space travel and spaceships and laser guns and some things that are, you know, you don't normally associate with fantasy, but there was also like swords and magic, like spell casting and wizards and, you know, sort of fighting vampires and forests and so on. So there's things that are more associated with fantasy. Phantasy Star II leans much more heavily into the overt sci-fi, and it just looks like a futuristic sci-fi game more than the first one. And to be fair, it takes place 1,000 years after the first game, so I suppose that fits. But that character of the game being more science fiction, I think, is reflected in the score. So this tune, Mystery, is played in the dungeons, which are more like warehouses or factories. Like, they definitely have, you know, there's metal pipes and like metal flooring and elevators and things which aren't in the first game. So yes, I think you'll notice a difference in the sound, and when I say dungeon, I mean it just in a general role-playing game sense, and not so much what the actual area looks like in the game. So let's give it a listen. This is the tune Mystery, which plays in some of the dungeons in Phantasy Star II, and the track is by Uwabo Tokuhiko. a long fade. So again, I think you can hear it's a bit more advanced. It does have a sense of mystery, but also, there's danger in that tune. There's also perseverance, and I suppose in some ways I'm reading into the track my own experience of the game, but I think the composer did a great job in imbuing a lot of the tunes in both games, but especially Phantasy Star II, with the character of what you're feeling or the characters you're controlling are feeling. And just as a quick synopsis, in the second game you control a character whose name is Rolf. Like, you can change the main character's name in the second game, so you can make him have a different name, but by default I think he's Rolf. And as with the first game, you meet people who, share what you're trying to do. And I actually don't remember the original motivation. I'm trying to remember, how your character sort of gets ensnared or drawn into this, interplanetary drama and epic story. But yeah, ultimately, I guess I'll get a refresher on that when we get into it. But the point is, you end up traveling to different planets, and you, again, have to recruit a team. And by the end of the game, there are some direct connections to the first game. At the very beginning, it's literally just a dream. In fact, that's the one thing I remember about the beginning, is that your character Rolf has a dream about Alice, the protagonist of the first one, but it's sort of a dream that's not really in his control, and it's like a recurrent sort of nightmare type of dream, and he's trying to figure out why it happens. And I think that's one of the reasons that he starts looking into some things, and that brings trouble. So yes, ultimately, it's an epic game. I'm looking forward to playing it. Again, Shining Force CD, we've got to go through the rest of that first, and Phantasy Star 1. But by the time we get to Phantasy Star 2, I think it'll be clear, it's on the level of a game like Shining Force or a game like Chrono Trigger. It's just really that good. So I'm looking forward to it. Let me know what you think of this one, and I will see you next time. Peace.